Hello. On behalf of the Scottsbluff Gering United Chamber of Commerce, welcome to our candidates forum for the 2022 general election. This candidates forum features the individuals running for the City of Gering mayor. This candidates forum is one of several being presented by the Government Affairs Committee of the Scottsbluff Gering United Chamber of Commerce. Along with my co-chair, Don Wolf, my name is Bill Boyer, and we appreciate you joining us. We would like to thank the Rural Radio Scottsbluff staff for recording this forum so you can view it, as well as the Midwest Theater for hosting us today. As a reminder, there are two candidates running for City of Gering mayor. In the November 8th general election, you will be allowed to vote for one candidate. The top vote getter will be elected to serve the 4-year term. Before we meet the candidates, I would like to go over the format for this forum. First, I'd like to let you know that this forum is being recorded live and is being presented unedited. Before we began recording, the candidates randomly chose the order where they are seated and will be introduced. We'll begin by asking a question, and each candidate will be given 90 seconds to respond. Then there will be an optional 30-second rebuttal for each candidate following the answer. After the final question, each candidate will be allowed 1 minute for a closing statement. There are timers in the room, and each candidate has been informed of the format and the rules prior to tonight. None of the questions have been given to the candidates in advance. Now let's meet the candidates for this forum for the City of Gering mayor, Kent Ewing and Eldon Hubbard. Our first question will go to you, Kent. If elected, what issues facing the city would be your priorities and why?
The City of Gering currently just passed the half-cent sales tax for the infrastructure, which was a major concern on my part. I believe that we have to make sure that that gets taken care of, and we follow the guidelines in which the voters approve those circumstances. It does have a 10-year sunset on those infrastructure items, so we need to go ahead and make sure that all those items get completed to where after that 10-year period, the citizens of Gering are satisfied with the work that we've done and possibly have to go back for further information on other items that we need to take care of. Hopefully the amount of money that we generate will help us with all of those circumstances and infrastructure that needs to be taken care of.
Eldon, if elected, what issues facing the city would be your priorities and why?
Well, I'd like to echo Kent's comments. Of course, the infrastructure has been a concern in the city for some time, and the citizens led the way and passed the half-cent sales tax, and I trust that we will oversee the upgrading of our infrastructure. I see some of those contracts have been let, so that's progressing forward. Additionally, I think that a priority would be to ensure that the citizens are provided with a safe city, and the city operates in an efficient, effective manner.
Kent, anything else you'd like to add? Okay. Our next question is for you, Eldon. Like the private sector, the public sector has had issues finding people to fill vacant positions. What ideas do you have to help improve the hiring process?
Well, this is an enigma. I've struggled in my current position filling the hiring employees. Well, I think that we need to advertise what a great place city is, the City of Gering is, including working for the city and ensuring that we have appropriate and well-defined positions, and that they are targeted enough to draw in quality individuals.
Kent, like the private sector, the public sector has had issues finding people to fill vacant positions. What ideas do you have to help improve the hiring process?
I currently own a business now, and the staffing has always been difficult. Recently, or the last several years, has just continued to get worse on that side of it. What I have done on my own personal business is you got to go out and look for people. You can't wait for them to come to see you. So I believe that we need to go out and actively pursue people that are qualified to fill the positions that are necessary and make sure that the benefits and the pay positions are equal to those numbers. I believe that's what we need to do. Like I said, everything we do, we have to be very aggressive about.
Eldon, anything else you'd like to add on the hiring process?
No, thank you.
Okay. Kent, our next question is for you. With the continuing march of inflation and with the city's electrical revenue fund near the maximum of what it can contribute to the general operations, what do you think the city can do to meet rising costs while trying to maintain service levels?
That's where I hope I can help out substantially. The city of Gering needs to be aggressive on the pursuit of businesses, bringing businesses, making businesses or helping businesses grow, to inflate the tax revenue and maybe relieve some of the pressure on the infrastructure side of it on the electrical department that collects those funds. So I think we need to go out. We need to build up other things to make sure that we don't have to increase, or maybe we can actually reduce. We've got several ideas on that side of it, and that's just a wait and see right now until I get into a position where I can effectively pursue those.
Eldon, what do you think the city can do to meet the rising costs while trying to maintain service levels?
Yeah, this is difficult with rising costs across the board, the current inflation. Everyone, including the city, is facing increased costs. This is very difficult as the city of Gering is bumping up towards the max on, as you mentioned, the electrical rate, the electrical income transfer. So, number one, we need to, as there's a housing need in the area, we need to expand our tax base by increasing the housing availability, such as the city council just approved the container bylaws. So that's a step forward. Obviously, every time we get an opportunity, we need to bring a business into Gering. Those are sometimes quite difficult to get a new business, but we need to increase the tax base, and with the city or school district, obviously it is property tax based. Thank you.
Kent, anything else on that?
No, thanks.
Okay. Eldon, our next question is for you. The cost of developing and opening the proposed regional landfill has increased dramatically over the past year or so, primarily due to increases in fuel and material costs. If the city of Scottsbluff pulls out of funding a portion of the project, what should the city of Gering do to ensure it has solid waste services for the community?
We need to, first off, carefully examine what and who we allow to dump into our current facility and extend that the lifespan there as long as possible. While if we're not in a cooperative agreement, then we'll have to relook at the magnitude of a new facility that we would look at, that we would develop.
Kent, if the city of Scottsbluff pulls out of funding a portion of the regional landfill project, what should the city of Gering do to ensure it has solid waste services for the community?
Well, at this point, I really hope Scottsbluff doesn't pull out of the situation we've got now. We are using surrounding towns also to help pay for all of this. I believe that we can keep the communications between all of the areas that are helping and keep things together. Scottsbluff has to have some place to go with their sanitation, their garbage. I believe we can probably stay in touch with them and work with them. So I don't believe that'll be probably an issue. But there is substantial ways of reducing the amount of garbage going into the landfill if we continue to use the recycling facilities and use it properly.
Eldon, anything else on the landfill?
Nope.
Okay. Kent, the next question is for you. Eldon mentioned this part of this a minute ago, but the city of Gering allows planned developments for tiny houses and now homes constructed out of shipping containers. What other options should the city pursue to address workforce housing?
That is going to be really difficult at this particular point. I was one several years ago that started this tiny house process. The actual amount of inflation has caused the price of materials and actual real estate to go up. So it's going to be very difficult. The containers, I'm not real familiar with how that's all going to work out. I've watched some videos and such on how that works. It's going to be really difficult. The small homes that I had planned on lots that had been split were supposedly going to end up around $80,000. Now you can't even build one for that without the land. You're talking well over $120,000. So we're going to have to look at the inflation. Hopefully things go down a little bit after the election process, and then we can look at things and possibly get into it. We got to also work with our contractors and some of the larger developers and hopefully bring those in and make things work.
Eldon, the city of Gering allows planned developments for tiny houses and now homes constructed out of shipping containers. What other options should the city pursue to address workforce housing?
Well, the interest rate went up, which caused the lumber price to go down. I don't think that that's just a straight trade-off. I'm not sure any consumer is going to save any money with that. But Gering has vast developments that were built using under the old HUD housing. I think that we should lean on some of our legislators to reinvigorate that, because there is a need for housing across the country, and we need to get some assistance from the federal government to implement some of those plans again. Thanks.
Kent, anything else? Okay. Eldon, this next question's for you, and Kent touched on this a little bit too, but what policies would you like the city to pursue to encourage more retail in the community?
Oh man, do we need retail? Holy smokes! I think we could reinvigorate the downtown with targeted retail. So I think and you know, I don't know the ins and outs of the personnel of the city, but we need to get someone that targets locations downtown that are available, and then is responsive to some unique targeted shops. You go to any other town this size, and there are specific shops in not just a men's store or a ladies' wear store, but they have very targeted. They're almost destination type locations, and that's where we need to throw our resources towards, and see if we could provide some support for some of the people that own the buildings downtown to provide nooks or locations for that.
Kent, what policies would you like to see the city pursue to encourage more retail in the community?
The city of Gering has opportunities that have existed, that have bypassed us for many years. Scottsbluff has always been the retail side of the river. I believe I'm going to try and help that on our side. I currently own one business in town. I've got two micro businesses in my business now. I believe that there's opportunity for other businesses to help these smaller businesses or starting up business or startups by using the facilities they've got, and when they grow up business-wise and learn the ins and outs where it doesn't cost them tons of money on a small mistake and they just end up closing up, somebody to assist them daily, like in my store, and when they do have their stuff organized business-wise, personally, then they move out into their own brick and mortar stores. These have to start small because you don't want the failures. I've done startups. I started it back in 2008. with the Oregon Trail Lounge, the Stagecoach Stop. Now I've got Lucy's Burritos. Now we got Stagecoach Popcorn. I've shown that I can start these businesses. They're profitable, and they will continue.
Eldon, anything else you'd like to add on retail?
No.
Okay. Kent, the next question is for you. The city of Gering has a reputation for quality amenities such as parks and athletic facilities. What can the city do to leverage such amenities to even greater advantage?
We have to promote them. We have to go after and aggressively go after all of this tourism, businesses, employees. We can't sit back and wait for people to do it for us. The business side of things, TCD and Gering and Scottsbluff and all have worked with these. But we have to go out on our own, have somebody in the city of Gering that's aggressively going after these. Myself, personally, if I get elected to be mayor, I will be one of those people. I want to be involved. I want to go after these businesses, these people, the professionals, workers, to make things better for the city of Gering.
Eldon, what can the city of Gering do to leverage parks and athletic facilities to even greater advantage?
Well, the city has great amenities for ballparks, parks, the amphitheater. We have great amenities, and I think that, personally, I think they should be developed for the citizens of Gering. So we want to make sure that we have them available and have engaging activities for our own citizens first. And by doing that, they could even grow into an attraction for other people to come in. And of course, we see it with the amphitheater and the ways it's used. Most recently with the marathon. We just need to build upon some of the activities that we do for our own citizens. In addition to, as Kent mentioned, we need to promote that ourselves, but we need to serve our citizens first.
Kent, anything else?
Just a couple more things. On the side of the parks, the ball fields, the softball diamonds, all of this. Now we're looking at it. Actually, they're going to do a pickleball court. All of this took money to build. It's going to take some money to promote them also. We still have to worry about the maintenance, all of this stuff that goes with these parks. But we need to make them to where they're community friendly and bring in, like in the summertime, all the shows, all of this stuff. Make it to where it works great for everybody.
Eldon, anything else? Okay. Eldon, this is the last question for you before we get to your closing statements. If elected at the end of your 4-year term, how would you define success?
I would define success at Gering by having moved well into some of the infrastructure development that is ongoing as we speak, and that we have a budget that is more balanced than relying on the revenue generated by electricity, and that we have involved citizenry that takes advantage of the resources we have, and long-standing cohesive staff throughout the city of Gering.
Kent, at the end of your 4-year term, if elected, how would you define success?
There's many things that I'm looking forward to. Like I said, the staff, the employees that are working every day out there, those guys are professional people. They need to be recognized. We need to make sure that the citizens are aware of what they do, and make sure that everybody does what they need to do to make things very good. I think we're at the point where we need to have the new businesses. I am actively pursuing that currently. I believe that we might possibly be able to get this horse track casino. If that happens, we're talking motels. possibly truck stop. We're talking Highway 71 being completed from I-80 to Canada, the Heartland Express. If that's the case, we got many opportunities. I just hope we can continue to build, and at that point we got the housing, all the infrastructure. Things should look good. It shouldn't be a problem, and I'd be happy to be the mayor.
Okay, we're to our point where we're going to do closing statements. We'll give each of you 60 seconds for your closing statement. Kent, the next question was for you, so you get to go first with your closing statement.
All right, I came to Gering in 1993. I became a police officer with the city of Gering. That makes me very much informed about what goes on in the city of Gering. From the low side of the police department to the high side, working with all the city employees, working with the management, the council members. I got out of law enforcement. I went back and I opened a business. I've had the business experience since 2008. I'm still working with the citizens every day in and out of my store. Micro businesses that I've started up. Got to understand, everything that I want to do is going to make Gering better. And just for the citizens of Gering. Thank you.
Thank you. Eldon, 60 seconds for a closing statement.
Hi, I'm a lifelong Gering resident. I played baseball on those diamonds that are down on the south side of town. I taught at Gering Junior High forever. I was a high school principal in Gering. I always say I'm a Gering guy. I always have been. I support Gering. I'm a Gering person to my soul. That being said, I would love the opportunity to take this step and lead the city of Gering for 4 years and try to make it a better place. All these things we've talked about, we're trying to make Gering better, and I would appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Eldon. Thank you, Kent. We'd like to thank our candidates running for City of Gering Mayor for participating in this forum. We hope that this helps you in deciding who you wish to vote for. As a reminder, in the November 8th general election, you'll be allowed to vote for one candidate. The top vote getter will be elected to the 4-year term. This candidates forum is one of several being presented by the Government Affairs Committee of the Scottsbluff-Gering United Chamber of Commerce. We would again like to thank the Rural Radio Scottsbluff staff for recording this forum so you can view it, the timers for volunteering, the chamber staff, and the Midwest Theater for hosting us. On behalf of the Scottsbluff-Gering United Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee, and for my co-chair Don Wolf, I'm Bill Boyer. Thanks again for joining us, and remember to get out and vote.